Basic anatomy. The role of history in anatomy. Learning how the science of anatomy developed. Hippocrates and Galen, as pioneers in understanding the human body. Leonardo da Vinci, through anatomical sketches of the human body. Andreas Vesalius, author of the anatomy book, the Humani corporis fabrica, which became the foundation of modern anatomy. The role of history in anatomy is very important because knowledge of the human body and understanding of anatomy has developed through a long process involving research, experimentation, and technological advances. The history of anatomy provides the foundation for our understanding of the human body today. And this role of history is not only related to scientific discoveries, but also to the development of methods used in the study of anatomy. Several important stages in the history of anatomy have contributed greatly to our current understanding. Here are some of the main roles of history in anatomy in detail. 1. The beginning of anatomical understanding. Prehistoric observations and ancient cultures. In prehistoric times, humans had begun to show interest in the body and its functions, although their understanding was limited by the limitations of technology and scientific knowledge. Several ancient cultures began to observe the human body, although there was no systematic method for studying anatomy scientifically. A. Ancient Egypt. Description. In ancient Egypt, embalming mummies allowed scientists to study the structure of the human body in greater detail. Applications of anatomy, although the goal was to prepare the body for the afterlife. The embalming process helped the Egyptians learn about organs such as the brain, liver, and lungs. They knew about blood vessels and several other body structures, although their understanding was not yet fully scientific. B. Ancient Greece. Description. Ancient Greek scientists, such as Hippocrates and Aristotle, began to develop systematic theories and observations about the human body. Applications of anatomy. Hippocrates, known as the father of medicine, emphasized the importance of clinical observation in medical practice. And Aristotle began to conduct research and writing on animal anatomy that contributed to the early understanding of the human body. C. Ancient Rome. Description. In Rome, a famous scientist and physician, Galen, 129 to 200 AD, developed much of the basic understanding of human anatomy. Applications of anatomy. Galen performed dissections on animals, especially pigs and monkeys, to study anatomy, since at that time dissection of human bodies was considered taboo. Nevertheless, many of Galen's theories were accepted as truth in the medical world for centuries, even though some of his insights were later proven wrong. 2. Middle Ages. Religious influence and scientific restrictions. In the Middle Ages, the study of anatomy stagnated due to the strong influence of the church and religious views that limited scientific learning, especially that involving human dissection. A. Influence of the Church. Description: the Roman Catholic Church had a great influence in shaping the culture and science of Europe in the Middle Ages. The practice of dissection of the human body was considered immoral and taboo, so anatomical research was limited. Application of anatomy. Although the study of anatomy developed more slowly, some doctors and scientists were still able to conduct limited research based on ancient Greek and Roman texts, but were often hampered by religious norms that prohibited dissection of the human body. 3. Renaissance, the rise of science and the study of anatomy. The Renaissance, 14th to 17th centuries, was a major turning point in the history of anatomy due to the revival of interest in science and the scientific method. During this period, human dissection began to be accepted again, and anatomical knowledge advanced rapidly. A. Andreas Vesalius, 1514 to 1564. Description: Vesalius, a Belgian physician, is considered the father of modern anatomy for his enormous contributions to the development of anatomy. Applications of anatomy. Vesalius wrote a monumental book called De Humani Corporis Fabrica, 1543, which described the anatomy of the human body with very detailed and accurate illustrations. He performed live human dissections, which was a controversial practice at the time. His work corrected many of Galen's errors and provided a solid foundation for the study of modern anatomy. B. Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci. Description: artists and scientists such as Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo also played an important role in the study of anatomy, although they are better known as artists. Applications of anatomy. Da Vinci, in his artwork, created many detailed illustrations of human anatomy, based on direct observation through body dissection. He drew and analyzed the muscles, bones, and other body structures in incredible detail. Michelangelo, as an artist, also studied anatomy to depict the human body more realistically in his sculptures and paintings. 4. Modern era, technological advances and deeper understanding of anatomy. With the development of technology in the 19th century and beyond, the understanding of anatomy deepened, especially with advances in medical imaging and other research methods. A. Medical imaging. Description: medical imaging, including X-rays, CT scans, MRIs, and ultrasounds, provide images of the human body without the need for dissection. Applications of anatomy. These imaging techniques allow doctors to visualize the internal structures of the body in incredible detail and without invasiveness. This has changed the way we study anatomy. allowing for more efficient and accurate research into the organs and tissues of the human body. B. Development of the microscope. Description. The use of microscopes allows scientists to see the microscopic structures of the human body, such as cells and tissues. Applications of anatomy. The invention of the microscope led to a deeper understanding of anatomy at the cellular and tissue levels, paving the way for the fields of histology and pathology, which are essential in the research and diagnosis of disease. C. Computer and virtual anatomy. Description. With computer technology and 3D models, human anatomy can be studied interactively using digital simulations. Applications of anatomy. Computer-based anatomy learning systems allow medical students to visualize and manipulate 3D models of the human body without the need for a cadaver. This technology also allows for the use of augmented reality, AR, and virtual reality, VR, for a more immersive anatomy learning experience. 5. Understanding anatomy in the context of health sciences. The history of anatomy focuses not only on knowledge of the body, but also on its influence on medicine and healthcare. Over time, knowledge of anatomy has underpinned many developments in medical diagnosis, surgery, and treatment. Surgery. A thorough knowledge of anatomy is essential in performing surgical procedures, whether minor or major. The history of surgery, driven by anatomical knowledge, has evolved from the limited techniques of the Middle Ages to safer and more effective modern procedures. Pharmacology and therapeutics. Understanding anatomy helps in the development of more targeted drugs and therapies, as well as in the treatment of diseases affecting specific organs or body systems. Conclusion. The role of history in anatomy is enormous, as many discoveries and contributions of scientists from the past have formed the foundation for our current understanding. From the first observations of the human body in ancient times, to the dissection of the human body by Andreas Vesalius, and the advancement of medical imaging technology. Every step of history has enriched our knowledge. The history of anatomy also helps us understand the relationship between body structure and function, which is vital in modern medicine and treatment. Without this historical journey, the understanding of human anatomy that we have today might not have been possible.